Welcome to the third episode of
My Movie Thing.
Get ready for a special movie review extravaganza! I've got tons of movies this time just to catch up because I've been very bad boy. First up is Evan Almighty. Aww, isn't this just the cutest mass homicide movie you've ever seen? Steve Carell, whom I adore, does his best, but he just can't save this film because it's intrinsically confused about who it wants to entertain. It deals with some subjects that are obviously going to go above the heads of the kids, but at the same time, it focuses a lot on sort of the constant pratfalling and just silly humour. Also, any movie that can make Jon Stewart unfunny is just not really worth it, in my opinion. Evan Almighty also sort of stares clear of any controversial territory. So in the end, you're just sitting there with this toothless movie that doesn't really try to say anything. It's trying to be good family fun, and I guess for some people it is. And, you know, some of the humour is funny, so I'm gonna give it a blank stare at least. Next up is Atonement. Colour me orange. I mean surprised. I didn't think I would like this movie actually, but actually I really did. And it really surprised me in that sense. It's really romantic, but at the same time it's not mushy. It can be very brutal at times actually. Guys, you have absolutely nothing to fear. This is a great date movie. There's wet Kira, there's sex, there's war things. It's a very all-encompassing movie. I'm not too sure about the ending though. I think I like it, but at the same time I don't really like it. All in all, this is a two-brow movie actually. Next up is Meet the Robinsons. It's another throwaway 3D animation, but it does have some good bits. I actually really liked the bad guy. In fact, all the good bits I mentioned, those were his. But in the end, it's just tame and it doesn't really give me much. But I think, you know, kids will like it, and there is enough for the parents as well to at least give it one brow. Mr. Woodcock. Oh, God. It's the same dickhead character Thornton has been playing since Bad Santa. What's happened? I mean, what about Sling Blade?
I like them French fried potatoes.
I noticed people were laughing, but the expression I mostly had on my face was, I'm gonna give this movie a frown. 310 to humour. It's great to see these gritty, proper westerns lately. I really like that. However, it just doesn't come to the level of The Proposition. Bale and Crow really do good work. I really like the both of them. But there are a few little things I just can't get over. One, it's insane how many people are dying just because of this one guy. It just doesn't add up. Two, I don't even need to tell you who, but you notice that one character suddenly takes a 180-degree turn in his personality, and it just doesn't sit well with me. It's got good action, it's gritty and all that, but in the end, because of those two things, one brow. And now, Bratz the movie. Now I know that I might not be suitable to review a movie that was made for 13-year-old girls. So, please welcome Magriana, age 13.
Emm Gee, you guys, this movie is like totally rad.
What? Tell me what was so good about it.
The fashion was like totally rad. I could like really relate to the characters and like the story and moral are like totally awesome. Like OMG.
The characters were all uber-human, ultra-talented supermodels.
Yeah.
They all dressed like tramps.
Yeah.
The moral of the story was that friendship is more important than academic achievement.
Yeah. Huh?
Friends are more important than school.
Like friends are like totally a big deal.
That's clever. Quoting the movie, that's nice.
Are we like totally done here? Because I got this like totally rad party that I want to go to, and it's like, I gotta get ready here, guys.
Fine, you go.
Like, bye, totally.
Listen, this movie is a horror to watch. But I think the intended audience will probably find it entertaining. I'm just not so sure that I want little girls to take their impulses from a movie that is this speculative and misdirected. It's pretty damn bad, but Rush Hour 3 was a lot worse. It's definitely a solid frown. Run, fat boy, run. It's got a good mix of silly, outrageous humour and also sort of the more quiet British humour. It's also one of the first times where Simon Pegg is without his good friends Edgar Wright and Nick Frost. All in all, it's good fun. I really like Hank Azaria as well, who also plays. I'll have to give it 2 strong brows. War. Did you see that poster? The poster says Lee versus Statham. I don't fucking care. It doesn't deliver on that at all. If you just know that in advance, it's lots of good, badass action, and it's just, really cool. So I think you'll really enjoy it if you just discount that and the really bad logical fallacies of the plot twist at the end. I think I'll give it 1 brow. Next up is Dhamal. Dhamal is Indian for fun. It's Bollywood for the MTV generation, basically. It's comedy action of the Cannonball Run style. Out of 20 people, I was the only white guy. And feeling the atmosphere of the other audience members really helped me to enjoy this movie more than I probably would have otherwise. The humour might seem unsophisticated to a lot of Westerners, I think. They use a lot of bouncy noises. And you have to sort of just keep an open mind while you watch it. And I think if you can keep an open mind, I think you'll have a lot of fun. From me, I'd have to give it 1 brow. But from the audience at large, I think it's probably a 2 brower. Alright, next up. Superbad. Super fun? That was bad. In this film, you get to see some awesome young talent. Both of the leads do really well, and most of the other young actors actually do a really good job as well, so I'm happy about that. None of the high school kids look 25, so that helps, What these guys do is that they really know how to inject honesty and sweetness into their films. It's really weird to watch it, because in 1 second you're like, oh, did he just say that? And in the next second, you're going, aww. It's just good, honest fun. And I think it's probably the best high school comedy of our generation. I'll give it 2 brows. Next up is A Mighty Heart. Now, the documentary style of the whole film is cool. It's good. It sort of gives you a sense of immediacy and authenticity to the whole film. But I actually felt that it detracted from the emotional impact most of the time. But in the end, Angie saves it with a spectacular bit of acting that just had me streaming. With tears, that is. Not that other thing that you sometimes stream with when watching Angelina Jolie. I should stop talking. But even though she did a really good job, I think the style of the film and the pacing of the film let it down thoroughly. And I'll have to give it 1 brow. The Reef. This film was boring, trite, and over-energetic. Most of the voices really annoyed me. The story isn't that interesting, and the jokes are bad. They had a character whose voice was a parody of Christopher Walken. It just didn't work. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to give this a bad frown. And when did you last see your father? This is a very bittersweet film about goodbyes, about reconciliation, about acceptance, etc., etc. Firth and Broadbent are amazing actors, and in the end, Firth just slayed me with his acting. I couldn't help it. It broke my heart completely. All in all, this is a definite 2 brow film. I'm probably going to say this next one wrong. Shecht, the inaccessible pinnacle. Shecht is Scots Gaelic. So if I pronounce that wrong, tell me. Tell me if I pronounce it right as well, because I'd like to know. So this is a Scots Gaelic movie. I personally feel very warmly about this film. Most probably because the style of it is very similar to the Norwegian movies that were made in the 70s and 80s, the movies that I grew up with. I don't really understand this film, but it's still very gripping, very touching. There's a mix of realism and escapism that really hits home with me. That's why I'm going to give this 2 brows. Last film of this episode is The Heartbreak Kid. Now this is a damn sight better than There's Something About Mary. If you like There's Something About Mary, I think you'll like this one as well. It's not as outrageous as Mary. It's a bit more sophisticated. Farrelly Brothers? Sophisticated? What? But in the end, what really annoys me about these kinds of films is that you have a main character, and from a box of 5 options on what to do, he constantly picks the worst option. It's fine and necessary that the main characters make bad choices, but when they consistently make the worst choice possible, it just annoys me, because it feels like I'm watching a movie about a total idiot. And you're supposed to relate to that? Maybe it's a movie for total idiots. Maybe I'm a total pompous arsehole. I don't know. I just don't like it. It's a frown. I'm done here. Next time, 5 movies, I promise you.
Like, what's the worst thing, like, about totally being like a fish? Like, when you go to the shower, you can, like, totally never find a dry towel. Bye.